Alright, so today I am working on the 67 Mustang here. Gonna try to figure out the brake booster here. This booster, I got a power booster conversion kit I had ordered from eBay. Now this kit, I got it years ago. Actually, I had it just in one of the drawers. So I was trying to figure out earlier. I believe from the pictures I've seen online, again, it's kind of hard to remember really, but it has this bracket that goes, I think, on the back or the front right over here, and then you mount this on here. I don't have the hardware for here, so I don't know if I just misplaced it or it didn't come with it. Now you're supposed to, from what I kind of seen the pictures, you know, both the lines, or you know, this line goes to this piece here, which that looks about right. But it's hard to say because I've seen some pictures online that, you know, just have this go right in here. Now I don't think it goes like this, because then that would be too far back, that would hit. It could be this way. Now that's too far forward, I think, and the bracket's not well, it might be long enough actually to do it there. So but if I do that with this line, this is what was together in my drawer. Again, I don't know if I'm missing pieces or what's going on. These I had on my order a whole brake line kit for the car, complete from front to back, and so these were in that kit. I think there were a couple smaller pieces too, or maybe I don't see anymore, so I don't know. But I know these were together with this kit, and the bad part is this port here, this doesn't fit. It's too small. And obviously if I go like this, you know, if this is how it's going to be, this is too small for up there. This one here. So I think I'm gonna have to, I don't know, probably go to the store and make myself a line, because also I've seen some kits that these are kind of crossed, and so if we cross these, I mean, you know, technically I guess you could cross them this way, and that's still not the right size on either one. So I don't know, I really don't know what's going on here. So this is a proportioning valve, so you have the rear port right over here. So I'm guessing, you know, obviously this goes in, it just goes to the rear brakes. This one goes, you know, if it goes here, then it just goes out, you know, it has the two lines here. So that's that. Here I have the front two lines. It's probably hard to see. Let me get a flashlight here really quick. Okay, there we go. So the brake lines here, I ran them, you know, that's the factory. The one from the back comes to right there towards the back side, and then the two front ones, they're right next to each other there. So I mean, those I can bend, you know, I have a lot of room on that back one, the, you know, the one that comes from the passenger side, or even the one that comes from the rear, I can move it a little bit. There's a lot of room. I was actually looking at the tranny back there too. That's probably gonna be a something else. But anyways, I haven't worked on this car for such a long time. It's all dusty in here. So yeah, I gotta figure that out. Probably go to the store and see what I can figure out, because quite honestly, I don't know if when I got this kit I was missing pieces, and I never, contacted the seller or anything because, well, one, it was such a long time ago that I don't think I had any of the brake lines in the car at that time, so I couldn't say, oh yeah, you gave me the wrong pieces when I didn't even know what I was going to need. So I know for a fact that this port here is the same size as this because this line fits both. So, that's fine. I just got to test this real quick here on the front lights. And that does fit. So, this fits the front, this fits both of the fronts. And quite honestly, the way the lines are over there, I mean, the one that comes from the front, I can just... Actually, the one that comes from the passenger side, it's kind of sticking up, so I can put it on the bottom. The other one is straight, so I can make it work here. So this might work best if I just mount it on the fender as well. So I might not even use that because I could just mount this, it's going to be about this far away, and then I could just mount this to here, if that's how it's supposed to be. Now this back piece is way too big for the line coming from the back, so I could probably get an adapter. For brake lines they have like little reducers as well. Okay, so the back one fits here. So now I just have a bunch of different sizes here. So the back one is this size. Obviously, I think this fits here, so either I can get like a little adapter here and then just do like a little coupling here for the back, or just get like a small little, compression fitting adapter here. So no big deal, these fit. This is no big deal. So my main concern is, I know this is the back because only one outlet goes in. Yeah, this goes in and out only on one side. Now for this, jeez, gotta figure out if the front is for the front brakes. This big one is for the rear brakes. I'm guessing because there's more fluid. The back ones are farther. I'll have to check my other, like my truck, see how it is. Because then knowing that, I could figure something out here. Because in that case, you know, I can just get a line that goes from there to there. It's the same on both sides, and I know the parts store usually does sell a line that's the same on both sides. No big deal. Or I can just make one, you know, flare it. And this one, obviously it's got the small size, and it needs a little bit bigger one, which is this size here. So once again, I could probably just either buy one that's already have the different sizes, or I can just, you know, try one of these longer ones, just retie it, put a new flare on the other side, you know. So, all right, well, let's see what we figure out. Stay tuned, see what we figure out. All right, guys, this is what we have so far. So here on the back, I found this. This is an adapter for brakes. So it's a compression fitting. So it's got the same, you know, same compression on one side, and then that's the fitting on the other side. So that goes in there, and then, you know, obviously it gets tightened. The other brake line just goes in here. So that is one option there. I can cut the other line and then just put this fitting on it, so it goes directly in there. I might do that. I haven't done a flare fitting for a while. I used to do them a lot when I work at the parts store, so I'd rather it be directly into the back of this. So I might just cut the line on the car and then just put this in there. This works. A lot of times when you buy a new brake master cylinder, it already comes with some of these adapters. So you have to use one. But, you know, the least amount of junctions, the less likely you'll have a leak. So if, so we'll see what I do. This line here, so I did some research, and on Fords, the front reservoir goes to the rear brakes. So that's why it crosses. And I know I saw a few on eBay that this is how they were. So with that said, this line did fit, you know, from the small port here, the big port here. So this goes to the front, the bigger reservoir to this side, and then here's the two, one on the other side, one on this side for the front brakes. This one goes to the back. So instead of getting adapters, those lines that I had extra, one of them fit on one side, one of them fit on the other side. So I did cut it. I was gonna use this one to begin with, but then it had this little S bend here. This one's a little bit more straight up. It was just bent once. I cut the other end, so I'm just gonna use this just because it's pretty much straight. I don't have to, you know, there's not that many bends. So I do have to get one of those tools at the parts store to do the compression fitting, you know, on the line. That's gonna be the tricky part here because, like I said, if it doesn't come out right, then you can't use it. It's not gonna seal. So I'll probably practice on one of the, you know, some of the other lines. It's just kind of tight in there. So as you can see, this side here hasn't been done. So I have to put the fitting in there. You know, pull it back. The tool goes around here, and then you know, you make pretty much this end on it. And if it comes out good, then, you know, I'll do it there. So I do have, you know, kind of a longer line. I mean, I can always bend it more, so I can probably mess up 2 or 3 times before there's not enough line. If I mess up too many times, then I could probably just use this. Although I cut both ends, so, you know, I could probably just buy another line anyways. But we'll see what happens. Probably practice on this one a few times, and then if it comes out good, I do this one. If that comes out good, then I'll do the back one that's on the car. So it's no big deal, that's over there. I just have to kind of work around there, but it's no big deal. So I think this is pretty much good to go. When I was tying this up, it wasn't going in there all the way, but I think just the studs were a little tight against the master cylinder. Once I used the wrench, it went all the way in. So that looks good. I'm gonna have to go, I don't have one of those tools. Eventually I might buy one, but I'll have to go rent one. And I'll check if, I know when I work at the parts store, there were sometimes like small lines that were about 8 inches long that had different size fittings. So if I find one that's already made, that's got the right fittings, I might just buy that. I know they're like $3 or $4, so I might just buy that, that way I don't mess with this. But if not, I'll have to flare this, and like I said, I'll have to look at this one. And also the other thing is, if I do this fitting here, like I was showing you guys, if I can get it in. Jeez. You know, that's pretty much as far in as it's gonna go. So there's only about an inch clearance here. I know the other line sits back here, so you know it's gonna be kind of hard to get it in there with that little bit of clearance. Yeah, I mean it's pointing up, so that's the other thing. We'll see. The other option, like I said before, is to mount this sideways. So to do that, I could probably just use one of these flange on this bolt to kind of have it sideways. I mean, this one would just kind of go up, so I'll have to bend it a little bit, but I could always just get rid of this bracket anyways and mount this against the car with these bolts. I think the factory one that was on the car, and I know it's somewhere, I have it somewhere in my garage, I just don't remember where. So I can always mount it to the car, and that's no big deal because then that line will have, you know, be easier to mount it over here on the side. I don't know, these might reach if I do that, where, you know, it's gonna be kind of up here. The only difference is this one's no big deal, it'll just bend here. This one, then obviously I'll have to bend it differently, but no big deal. I'll have to kind of look at it and see because looking at it really, even without that, well, without that adapter, I could, you know, probably bend the line kind of like this, and that'll give me enough room to tighten it in. I can even give it a little bit more because I'll need some room to have this and that tool. But as you know, I have probably like this much, yeah. And if it's that much, I have enough room to do that flare. So I'm probably just gonna end up not using this fitting, but I don't know if I might just mount this on the side, get rid of this bracket. So gotta get the tool for this, and then we'll figure it out. We'll go from there, see what happens. Alright guys, so I went to the store and got the double flaring tool here. You know, you can get these at any auto parts store, so they rent them out. Essentially you pay for the tool, you use it, and then when you're done with it, you take it back and you get your money back for it. So we're gonna give that a shot. I also bought a line that's I don't know, like 5 feet long, just in case I need to, you know, make new lines or anything. I can cut that into pieces, and I have more line to practice with. So I think after kind of thinking about it a little bit more, I decided to just get rid of this bracket here, and I'm gonna mount this directly in the car. So got some flashlights here so you guys can see easier, but got the hinge here on the car. But essentially I'm gonna mount it somewhere in this area. I believe this is the factory spot where the other one was, so probably around here I'm gonna mount it. That would make it easier to get this front driver's side line. I mean, I can just bend it and put it in the right spot. And then this one, same thing. I can always just kind of make it, you know, reach or whatnot. So that'll make it easier. And then this one, since it's right there, I mean, I am gonna put that bigger fitting on it, just so that way I don't have a problem with leaking, I believe. So since that proportioning valve is gonna be right here, I can put that adapter. So I'm kind of in between deciding, so we'll see. But I am gonna mount it here, so I'm gonna figure out where and then drill the holes to mount it. And then I'll obviously I have this line here. I don't know if it's gonna reach. I might just have to make a new one since it's not gonna be in this spot, or just unbend this. It just depends. This is pretty sharp bend, so if I bend it back it might kink. We'll see what happens. But if not, I do have enough line to do that. So while I work, you know, I'll stop and show you guys what I've been doing so far. Alright, so you guys can see here, I mounted the proportioning valve here. I used one of the existing holes. I did drill another hole here. And I am gonna spray the underneath of the fender's already been sprayed with undercarriage, you know, paint underliner, but I'll probably redo that, or, you know, spray a little bit more of a paint on the bolts just to make sure things don't rust that bad out here, but I am gonna do that just in case. So this line here is pretty much connected. I need to tighten it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and bend this one here carefully so it goes here on the top. These are both the fronts. And then this back one you guys saw in there, I did put that fitting in there just because since I have this band and might be a little bit hard to see, but I don't have a lot of line really, you know, to stretch out. So if I cut that a little bit to make a fitting or to make a new flare to change that fitting, it might not be long enough, and I don't want a chance, you know, not having enough line, and then I'll have to buy a whole new line or something that goes all the way to the back. This is a really long piece here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use that adapter that I showed you guys yesterday, earlier, and then connect it here on the back. So like I said, those are really common when you buy master cylinders. You get like an adapter sometimes. Again, I personally rather not have it, but in this case I'm just gonna see, hopefully everything works well. I tighten it up into the proportioning valve, and it's pretty tight in there and everything. It was sitting right against there on the flare, so it shouldn't leak, hopefully. And then I'll tighten up the line here. Hopefully everything's good. As long as we don't have leaks, then it's good to go. So once I tighten up these lines here in just a moment, I'm gonna put in that booster, put the nuts on the back. I'm gonna have to cut these a little bit because I think they're hitting. So I'll get in with the grinder, cut these. I think this one's good, but this one's hitting. Put the bolts on the back side. There's 4. This used to be a manual brake, so that's why you see the holes are a little bit different. The factory master cylinder just bolted right in here. So I had to make this hole a little bit bigger. And I did that a long time ago, and then I had to, you know, do these 4 holes. But those are all done. I did change the pedal. So I bought that kit from eBay that came with the pedal and all this stuff. So far it seems pretty good, except the lines weren't correct, but I'm not gonna use those anyways, probably. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do those, get that booster in there, and then the final thing would be mount the master cylinder and see how long of a line I need for it in there. All right, got this mounted in there. Solid in there, it's pretty good. I got all the bolts tightened up. The brake shaft does match perfectly in there. I am going to have to find a, you know, one of those clips to go on the shaft for the pedal, so it doesn't fall out. But I was trying it a few times. I don't know if you can see it on the thing. It should have been pushing this out pretty good. So next I'm gonna mount the master cylinder. Looks like that's our next step. The line here, it goes right behind this booster. so it clears everything here underneath. This one goes right underneath of it, the one for the other front brake. So that looks good. So everything is tight right now. We got the vacuum hose here, which we'll connect later on, but master cylinder just has to go in here, and then I'll have to make those lines. So let's work on that next. All right, so we're gonna make those lines now. Get some practice here with the tool. So I was doing this one earlier, and it's gonna be kind of hard to see on the video, but it's you know, it's similar, but it's not near as nice as, you know, the ones that come or that are on these here. But that is the first one I tried, so I do need to get a little bit more practice, and then you know, to see if I can get this to work. We are gonna go ahead and put the master cylinder in there in the booster, mount it on there. That way we know exactly how far the line has to be. So we'll go ahead and do that now. All right, so the one that was already made, it just had way too many bends, and when I try to bend it a little bit, that really sharp turn it had, it didn't kink, but I didn't like the way it just kind of, you know, it's too thin around there, especially with all the bends it's gonna have. So I'm just gonna make a new one. I got a piece of just mechanics wire here, just so I can kind of you know, make it the shape I need the line to be, since I can bend this one easy. And then, you know, once I have the right shape, I can make pretty much a copy of it with the regular line. And then just make the flares, hopefully. So think this will give me a decent idea. So you know, obviously the line's gonna be, you'll have this bend here, which I should be able to do, and then from there just kind of a slight curve here, and then being this shape, I can always kind of move it slightly on the actual line itself. So, you know, this is just kind of a way I can make it, will be easier to make. So I think this is the shape I have to make it. You know, if you guys need to do something like that, I would say, you know, this will kind of help. You know, I just kind of made it from here to that port there. I mean, this is where it's gotta be. Obviously, once I make it with the actual line, then I can always tweak it a little bit. So gonna go ahead and try the flare in here, and then see how that goes. So I already cut a piece off this long line here. So this is the one I was just trying to bend there, but you know, I don't want to have this. It's not bad. I mean, it still has its shape, but you know, I would have to bend it downwards. I mean, it's just way too crazy. So I'm just gonna cut this line and use this fitting on the end here, since this is gonna be the you know, tightest fitting, and then I'll put the smaller one on this end, and hopefully it looks good. We'll see. Alright, so this looks pretty good. I don't know if you'll be able to really see it in the camera, but the flare looks pretty good, you know, close to that one as far as the shape and everything. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it in this piece that I already have cut. We'll see how it comes out. Usually you get these lines here where that piece grips the line, but I mean, that's just really, if you need to get rid of it, just use a little bit of sandpaper. No big deal. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it in here. Hopefully it comes out good and we won't have to redo it. If we have to redo it, then, you know, we'll just cut another piece of that line and start again. Gonna use this since this is the one that was fitting in our master cylinder. Make sure put it in there, because if I flare that, then, you know, there's no way to get it in there. So as you saw earlier on the video, I was bending this one here. So as you can see, it's a really good brand. You can always use something round, like I use the handle here on my toolbox just to keep it tight and then bend it over. If you just do it freely, that's where you would get, you know, kinks. Just because, you know, there's no way, you know, if you just, I mean, you can, you know, start doing it, but you're more likely to start kinking it if you do it by hand. Or if you put it over something that's round and just apply pressure around it, it's gonna make it nice and round. So keep that in mind as well. If you're doing a brake line, always try to use something like this. They do have the tubing benders. I have a little one actually, which it's actually not that bad. So I have this one here. I don't think I could have done this angle with this anyways because it's smaller, but you know, for something like this you can use it. But you know, if you have something like this, I thought that would be easier than using the tool. But they do have pliers that help you do the bends that are even tighter bends. You know, it just depends really if you want to buy some of those, whatever. But anyways, let's see how that comes out on the actual line. Alright, so you can see, got this one all done. It looks pretty good. Make sure you know you have that fitting in there. So it's pretty good in the shape that I want it to be. So, you know, it's a trial and error. If you don't get it right, you can always just get another line. They're not too expensive if you buy them in the 5-foot length like I did there. So, you know, no big deal. Just if anything, go buy another one and try again. So so you can see there on the camera, so I got this one. It just goes, you know, got that loop and then goes straight because it lines up with that backboard on the master cylinder, which is the one for the front brakes. And then this one goes here on the back, so I just made it have the loop so it goes kind of around. You know, I don't want to have things kind of on top. This way. Alright, so like I was saying, sorry. So I'm just gonna bolt it on here on the back. So it's not 100% right now, but it's really easy because I figured I can just kind of go down and then pull it back up and just line it up here. Here, yep, that's the right one. So I'm just gonna tighten this one up. When you first start the brake lines, make sure they start by hand. You know, if they aren't really starting and you try to use a wrench, you might cross thread it in there, so you don't want to do that. So just make sure you at least have a few threads in there by hand, and then you can use a wrench. So just to make sure you don't mess up the threads. Especially some of these master cylinders are aluminum, so they're really easy to mess up the threads. And it depends on the fittings. Like this one's going, you know, pretty far into the master cylinder. Almost flush, but that's good. So that's really tight there. With these compression fittings, usually they don't have to be that tight. You know, just kind of pretty, kind of like hand tight and you're good to go. But if you do get one that starts leaking on you a little bit, then that's no big deal. Just, you know, try to tighten it up a little bit more. But usually, since when they seat on that flare, that kind of seats down, so you know they don't have to be so tight where you're gonna mess up with the nut, you know, the threads or anything like that. Like this junction is brass too, so remember that's pretty soft, this proportioning valve. So you know, I'm gonna tighten up here pretty tight with, you know, my hand. That should be more than enough. If I do get a little bit of a leak in any one of them, then I'll try to tighten it up a little bit more. You don't need no Teflon or anything like that on brake lines, so they should just seal with that flare. So this is pretty good to go there. But you know, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. You know, it's decent for kind of a do it at home. Maybe this will help see it, but you know, everything is hooked up now, so we could probably just start working on something else. So brake booster fit on the pedal really good. Everything's good to go, so we can just get this cap here. I'm not gonna put brake fluid in there yet. Car's nowhere near getting started anyway, so I do still have to put the brake lines down on the bottom on the front disc brakes, so I'll do that next, and then after that it is pretty much done and ready to be bled and everything. But I'm not in a hurry until the engine's pretty much running and I need to drive it. So that's it for that. The kit did come with these little bushings here. They are what the pedal, you know, what the brake booster goes into the pedal, you put this in there. It's just like a little bushing. And then I did remember from before, I put the little clip here. This is what holds the pedal from sliding out of that bushing. So this kit also came with this little plug, which is like a brake, I believe like a low fluid switch, something like that. So, you know, if your fluid is low, it turns on a light in your dash. And most cars have that. I know this Mustang had one because when I first got it, it wasn't connected. And so I decided, hey, you know, I want my, I don't know, brake little light to come on if I don't have any brake fluid or whatever. And after I connected it, I don't know, a little while longer, I started the car, shut it off, and then that whole harness burnt down. So I was able to unplug it and nothing else, but that wire burned all the way to the dash. It did burn a few of the other ones next to it. So, you know, it was there, but it wasn't working, I guess. I don't know, it doesn't really matter because I am putting a new harness on it. So that would be another video next. I'm gonna put a wiring harness in the car. So it's a painless wiring harness for the 67, 68 Mustangs, I think. So we'll be doing that. One of the things I'll be doing, there's probably gonna be a lot more things going on, but you know, thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to our channel if you like our videos. Any comments, any questions, please let us know. Stay tuned for the next one. You guys have a great day.